Hello, guys. Welcome to another exciting episode on Pious Football, where I bring you the latest in transfer news. We talk about tactical analysis of games and discuss pertinent issues around football that you don't hear on mainstream sports media. Now, let's just go right in with stories that are coming to you on Monday. I'm going to start at the camp of West Ham. Good news for Manchester United fans is that there is a club actually interested in Harry Maguire. Remember, West Ham initially made an offer of £20 million plus add-ons for Harry Maguire. That was immediately turned down by Manchester United. Now, the news coming in this afternoon, Monday afternoon, was that they made a second bid for Harry Maguire in a region of around 30 million euros, 30 million pounds plus add-ons. Now, that bid, as I speak to you now, has been rejected by Manchester United. Remember, Harry Maguire was bought for a price of around 85 million pounds from Leicester City somewhere in 2019. United understand that they are going to incur losses on the player, but they are not willing to sell him for less than 40 million pounds. So initially they were going to sell him for 50 million pounds, but they realized that it would be difficult for a club to bid 50 million pounds for Harry Maguire in his current circumstances. He just a source of banter for rival teams. I mean, he made another mistake over the weekend, but he redeemed himself by providing an assist for Facundo Pellestri's injury time winner against Bilbao. But Maguire is wanted by West Ham. They've made a £30 million offer plus add-ons. Has been turned down by Manchester United. They want £40 million to sell Harry Maguire. Now, from the camp of West Ham still, they made an additional £30 million offer for Scott McTominay. So it was a double bid of £60 million for both Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay. It was turned down. I don't know. I don't have information about whether the bid for Scott McTominay has been turned down or not. But United also want £40 million for Scott McTominay. Remember that there was a bid for Scott for this same West Ham. Somewhere around 25 million pounds. It was turned down. Now they've come back with a 30 million offer for Scott McTominay. We are here to hear news of whether that bid will be turned down or not. Now, also at the camp of PSG, now there is a bombshell at PSG, and the news coming in is that Neymar has reportedly told Paris Saint-Germain that he wants to leave the club. Now, he had a meeting with his family and his agent, Pini Zahavi, and they decided to let PSG know of their intentions, and they have told PSG that they want to leave this summer. Now, mind you, PSG have been trying to sell Neymar for 2 summers now. So I'm sure it will be good news for the camp of PSG to hear that Neymar is finally willing to leave. Now, the problem with this Neymar transfer is a club willing to take on Neymar. Remember, he has injury issues, and a lot of people have complained about his off-field antics, like he's not really focused on football these days. But the boy is clearly talented. He still has what it takes to excel at the highest level. And so, I mean, it will be interesting to see where he will end up. The information coming is that the Neymar camp want to go back to Barcelona. Barcelona, some board members are also interested in having Neymar back at Barca because of the marketing potential of Neymar. However, the only stumbling block to Neymar's Barca move is the coach, Xavi Hernandez. The coach has categorically told the board that he doesn't want to have Neymar back at the club. So, I mean, also the news coming in is that Chelsea are considering bringing Neymar to the Stamford Bridge. Now, they are currently the coach, I mean, Todd Bowley, and also his technical team are sort of in engagement to try and see if they want to evaluate the possibilities of having Neymar at the club, the financial demands that it would cost the club, and also the sporting project if Neymar will fit the project. Currently, they are sort of investing in young players, so I don't know if they are willing to bank on Neymar, but if Neymar comes to the Premier League and joins Chelsea, I'm sure it will be good news for the EPL fans. Also, at the camp of PSG, I want to also announce that there is a done deal there from PSG for Goncalo Ramos. Now remember, Goncalo Ramos is a striker from Benfica, a Portuguese. He's been in the news for some time now. I told you in my earlier episode that Goncalo Ramos is someone that they want to get on board to replace the departing Kylian Mbappe. As to whether the Mbappe will sit on the bench the whole season or not, I'm not really clear. What they intend to do with Mbappe if he doesn't leave, I'm not sure they will be willing to keep a world-class player on the bench whilst they are playing Champions League games. So let's see what will happen. But they have already taken the steps forward to try and move on without Mbappe by bringing in Goncalo Ramos. The deal is done. I told you in my previous episode that that deal is a loan move plus an obligation to buy for 80 million euros plus add-ons. So that is the news coming in there for PSG and Goncalo Ramos. The deal entails a payment structure that will start from next year, just to help PSG evade financial fair play rules. So good news for the Parisians out there. Also, at the camp of PSG still, Luis Enrique, the manager of PSG, has told the club that he wants to sign Ansu Fati. Now, that is an interesting request right there. Ansu Fati, remember, Barca have been trying to push him out because of his injury woes. They tried to get him to play for Wolves. The player was not interested in that move. So, currently, Ansu Fati is within the manager's plans for the foreseeable future. So Xavi Hernandez, after losing Ousmane Dembele, might not really want to part with Ansu Fati right now. So I'm not sure if Luis Enrique's demand for Ansu Fati is going to materialize, especially when they've just captured Ousmane Dembele from the noses of Barcelona. So I'm not really optimistic about Ansu Fati to PSG transfer. Also, I want to talk about West Ham. They've announced the signing of Edson Alvarez, the Mexican central defensive midfielder from Ajax. I told you in my earlier episode that Edson Alvarez has been a point of attention for West Ham. They've been interested in him for some time now. Initially they bid for around 20 million pounds and was turned down, but now they've returned with a total package of 35 million pounds. I'm told that they bid 30 million pounds plus add-ons, which takes it to a total package of 35 million pounds, which was what Ajax were looking for. So I mean, Edison Alvarez has arrived in London. He has done his medicals. The paperwork is still being done, so the move officially will be announced this week, but it is a done deal. Edson Alvarez has moved from Ajax to West Ham. Also, at the camp of Liverpool, I am told just this afternoon that they have submitted a third offer for Romeo Lavia. Now, this transfer has taken more than a month. Liverpool are still heckling over the price for a player. Southampton have told clubs over and over again he's going to go for 50 million pounds. We are not selling him for less than 50 million pounds. Now they bid 39 million pounds, it was turned down. They bid 42 million pounds plus add-ons, it was turned down. Now the news coming in this Monday is that they bid 45 million pounds plus add-ons. Now they believe that the add-ons is somewhere around 5 million pounds, which will take the total package to 50 million pounds, which Southampton are looking for. As to whether Southampton want 45 million pounds plus add-ons or they want 50 million pounds, we will see probably by tomorrow if the bid will be accepted or not. But the two clubs are still in conversation. But I think that Liverpool will have to wrap up this deal before other clubs come, knocking on the door of Romeo Lavia. Also, at the camp of Celta Vigo, the news coming in this Monday is that Celta Vigo have actually rejected an offer of 30 million euros from Napoli for Gabri Viega. Now remember, Gabri Viega is a talented teenager, Spanish-born international who's making waves in the La Liga. He's wanted by several clubs, and Napoli are trying to see if they can test the waters with this bid. The boy has a buyout clause of 40 million euros. So I don't understand why Napoli submitted a 30 million euro offer. It has been turned down. So if Napoli are interested in Gabriel Viega, they would have to come back with the 40 million euro buyout clause in his contract. Also, at the camp of Al Hilal, the Saudi club, remember the club that tried to sign Kylian Mbappe, they are now back trying to sign João Felix. Remember, João Felix currently is having an impasse with Atletico Madrid, and the coach, the Argentine coach, I always seem to forget his name, Diego Simeone. Yeah, they are having difficult, tense moments between them, disagreements on training methods and playing techniques. So I mean, João Felix doesn't want to play for Atletico Madrid. The club also is trying to ship him off, but the problem with João Felix is that the price of 120 million euros, no club is willing to pay that price. Atletico Madrid have not been willing to listen to offers below the price they paid for him from Benfica. So currently, he's not getting any offers, and so I mean the Saudi Arabia club Al Hilal are trying to test the waters. Remember, their manager is Jorge Jesus is also a Portuguese. He was a former manager at Benfica. He coached João Felix when he moved from the U team of Benfica to the first team. So he's familiar with the player. He's been talking to the player to convince him to come, probably on loan. But João Felix currently doesn't want to go to Saudi Arabia. Remember, he's a young player at the height of his game. He believes that he deserves a big club in Europe, so he's going to wait it out. I'll be surprised if João Felix goes to Saudi Arabia, even if it's for a loan move. Also, at the camp of Chelsea and Moises Caicedo, the transfer of the summer, I believe, it's been wrangling for months now. Now, the news coming in is that Moises Caicedo is trying to force a move to Chelsea by not attending training. Now, this player, I told you in one of my episodes when I talked about this deal that, I mean, if you really wanted to leave Brighton, you shouldn't have renewed your contract. No, they just renewed their contract last year. And then now the player is trying to force a move to Chelsea. Now, Chelsea bid 80 million pounds. That was turned down. And I think, to be honest with you, Brighton are trying to be a bit more greedy here. Some of these clubs, I really don't understand them. You bought a player from Berchut in Colombia, in Ecuador, sorry. Berchut FC in Ecuador for 4.5 million pounds. Okay. You buy a player for 4.5 million pounds. After 2 years, an offer of 80 million pounds comes for a player, and you reject the offer. I really don't understand some of these clubs. They are bent on taking 100 million pounds. Chelsea have done everything they can to convince them to take the offer, but they are not accepting anything. They are not having any of it. They are insisting that they want 100 million pounds for Moises Caicedo. The player is trying to force a move now because he realizes if he tries to play the good boy, he might not end up at Chelsea. You remember, the Premier League is just a week away from now. So let's see. But Brighton are expecting the player to start in their Premier League game over the weekend. So let's see if Chelsea will be able to make a move and get the deal done before the Premier League starts. Also, at the camp of Manchester United, Rafael Varane. I have a series of new FA decisions in terms of refereeing for this season that is linked to this story. Now, Rafael Varane sent a letter to FIFA complaining about, number one, there are too many games that officially professional players, especially in the Premier League, are playing now. Now, remember, if you are a Premier League player in the top 6, you are likely to play in about 4 or 5 competitions a season. You are playing in the Premier League, you are playing in the Europa League, you are playing in the Champions League, you are playing in the FA Cup, and you are playing in the League Cup or the Carabao Cup. So 5 competitions for a single club. Now, that is sort of a huge, it presents a huge pressure. More likelihood that players will be injured because of the tiredness, the fatigue involved. And then the new refereeing rules that have come, that have been presented to the teams that referees will be applying these rules in the league, sort of added more pain to the misery. And Rafael Varane believes that the FA are not, taking the players' welfare into consideration. They are pulling too much. They are putting too much pressure on the players because of the huge TV deals in the Premier League. They want a lot of games coming up. And a lot of the players will be playing multiple competitions, coupled with the fact that new refereeing rules is going to take a lot of fun away from the game. Now, one of those rules is the celebration rule. Now, there is a rule now that if you over celebrate, a lot of time, doing a lot of time wasting with the celebration, the referee has every right to add the time you used in celebration to the game itself. Now, remember, players are already are not allowed to remove their shirts when they are celebrating. It's already a rule. Now, you can't celebrate for too long. If you celebrate for too long, you might be penalized with a yellow card. So, Rafael Varane complaining that they are taking a lot of fun away from the game, as well as coupling the players with more games, more pressure, more fatigue, making them more prone to injuries and stuff like that. Now, these days, professional footballers cannot play at a high level beyond 36 years. So, I mean, that is something there for FIFA and the Premier League to think about. Now, let me just take you through some of the new rules coming in for this season. If you are a Premier League fan or your team is in the Premier League, these are some of the new rules that you need to look out for. Okay, the first is the crowding a referee rule. Now, that rule says that if there is an infringement, a referee blows a whistle for an infringement in the game, only the captain of the team that the infringement has been is going against has the right to approach the referee. Now, if you approach the referee and you are not a captain of the team, you immediately attract a yellow card instantly. The rule has been communicated to the teams. Now, in the picture that you see there, you see that Liverpool players, Van Dijk and the like, are all circling the referee, crowding the referee. Now, only Jordan Henderson can approach a referee. The rest of the players, behind Henderson, if it was this season, if that picture had happened this new season, all the players behind Jordan Henderson will be booked according to the new FIFA rule, new Premier League referee rule. So you are not allowed to approach a referee if you are not a captain after an infringement has been whistled against you. Also, you cannot run from a distance and aggressively approach a referee. For example, I remember one of the games last season. I think Mario Lemina, right? He had an infringement against him. He thought he was clear on goal, and the referee whistled for an infringement earlier on in the game. He got angry, and then he ran aggressively and stood in front of the referee and started shouting. This season, if you do that, instant yellow card. Also, another rule: if more than one coach from a team approaches the fourth official to complain about maybe a referee not whistling for a foul or an infringement for their team against the opponent, there is an instant yellow card for the extra manager. So if more than one manager from a club or more than one coach from the technical area of a team approach a referee, the fourth official, to complain about an infringement, an instant yellow card for the extra manager. Also, another Premier League rule that is coming is that if you are a coach on the touchline and you throw your hands in the air and signal the referee to give a yellow card to someone, whether you are a player or you are a coach, and you signal the referee to give yellow card to someone for an infringement, you get a yellow card for trying to influence the referee to dish out cards to the opponent. Also, another rule is that there's going to be more additional time on the games this season. Now they've realized that after the current Premier League season ended, there was a research. It was actually conducted by FIFA. Many of the leagues were involved in that research, and it showed that the actual time players use in playing football is very low. Sometimes they realize that the average time spent playing the football itself is about 55 minutes. Remember, football is a game of 90 minutes. Now, in between the 90 minutes, there are injuries, there are breaks, water breaks, there are times that players are sent out to in substitutions, celebrations, goal celebrations and stuff like that. So in between all these time wasting and everything, they realized that the average time spent on playing the actual football itself is about just 55 minutes. Even in some cases, in League 2 in England, there were games that were played for only about 48 minutes. Now, this was very alarming to the footballing administrators, and FIFA started making changes by adding more time to the normal 90 minutes. Now, remember, those of us who watched the World Cup in Qatar, there was this game against, I think, England and Iran. There you can see in your shot there that they added 14 minutes added time. Now, this is going to be the norm this season in the Premier League. More additional time will be added to games to ensure that the actual time players spent playing is actually increased above the average 55 minutes. Another rule that you are supposed to expect this season is the time wasting rule. Now, this time wasting rule says that you remember that actually when you are watching a game, referees only start dishing out yellow cards to goalkeepers, especially goalkeepers who waste time when it is almost at the close of the game, maybe the dying embers of the game. That is when players start wasting time. That is where the precautions or the cautions from the referee comes. Now, the new rule says that even if it is within the game and they realize that you are wasting time, you are, for example, you are a player, there is a ball coming, the referee has whistled for an infringement, you are angry, and you kick the ball away. There's going to be extra time to spend to bring a new ball. Now, that means that you are wasting time. So those sort of intentional wasting of time during a game demands that there is an instant yellow card for you. So this season, we are going to see a lot of yellow cards, being dished out to players. And it means that if you are a top team, you have to have a lot of players in your squad. Because a lot of I foresee a lot of yellow cards and red cards coming for players. Now, players who like to complain so much, who like to approach referees, getting emotional. My friend Varane said it, that they are trying to take out emotions out of the game. And but football is a game of emotions. Somebody has invested their time, their effort into playing a game. Obviously, if there is an infringement against them and they feel it is not the right decision by the referee, they are likely to flare up and express their feelings in that manner. And now you are giving them yellow cards for expressing emotions. So now, that is what Rafa Varane was complaining about, that players are not machines, they are not robots. They want to enjoy the game with their emotions involved. But the new rules coming, a lot of penalization going out for display of emotions being interpreted as time wasting and disrespect to the official. So interesting things coming this season. So let's see how these rules will affect the game and the team as we go on, the results that are going to come. Right now, the orientation has been done to for all the teams, so all the players are aware of these rules. And so let's see what happens. Now, thank you very much for staying with me. Follow my channel by subscribing to Pious Football, and also like the video, and don't forget to put down your comments in there. Let's discuss how these new refereeing laws will affect the game. Thank you very much for staying with me. Bye.